Chapter 1. The chapter begins with a giant monster attacking a city as the townspeople run for their lives as they panic. A boy named Yi Tian stares at the monster in shock as his arm suddenly begins to glow. He suddenly falls into an abyss and screams as energy surges around him. A strange light floats above him and enters his head. Yi Tian wakes up in his room and says he should be in the midst of talent awakening. He wonders if what he said was an illusion from the awakening. 100 years ago, cracks appeared in the skies above the Earth, and fierce beasts from other dimensions invaded Earth. The beasts threaten the existence of humans, but the dimensional energy triggers hidden talents in humans. Few people experienced an awakening, and it started the talent era. Yi Yu knocks on Yi Tian's door and asks if he has awakened his talent. He stares at a rock that says he has a weak talent and wonders if his life is over. He wonders how he will protect his sister if he cannot become a warrior. Yi Yu enters the room and asks Yi Tian how the process was. He says the test went well and he will become a mighty warrior. Yi Yu celebrates as she says her brother is the best. She asks him to follow her and says she has made his favorite food to celebrate. Yi Tian walks behind her and is able to see her status window. He then sees his status window and is shocked by his ability. Yi Yu grabs her brother and runs with him, and a notification pops up informing him that he can copy her talent. Yi Tian realizes he has hope because he is able to copy people's abilities. They get to the dining, and Yi Tian decides not to use his sister's talent to experiment. He sees that her base level is better than his and says her ice talent is very rare. He asks his parents, who are deceased, to rest in peace if they can see him. Yi Tian walks on the streets and tries to use his talent. He can only see people's talents when they are within 3 meters, but realizes that everyone is weak. He decides to go to the 5th Academy of the Seafront Base and says he will become more powerful. 10 days later, when an instructor says everyone will learn physical training with him, he says they will succeed when a cyclone condenses in front of them and several students collapse as they train. The instructor tells them to ignore the trash and Yi Tian cannot form the cyclone. He then tells them to set Chen Dong as an example so they can stop being useless. Yi Tian walks with Zhang Bao, who asks who Chen Dong is. Zhang Bao says Chen Dong is extraordinary and became a warrior after only half a month. He shows Yi Tian an autograph signed by Chen Dong and says it will be worth a fortune when he becomes powerful. As Chen Dong passes, several students gather together and Zhang Bao runs to him. Yi Tian sees him and smiles as Chen Dong talks to the students. He goes to say hi and Chen Dong says he is there to motivate them. Yi Tian asks Chen Dong if he can get a handshake and Chen Dong agrees. He smiles as he gets to the front of the line and shakes his hand. Yi Tian is happy that he successfully copied Chen Dong's talent. He goes to an isolated cave and wonders what his dream means. He decides to merge with the copied skill and feels excruciating pain in his chest as he merges. He wonders why it is happening and says that merging talent is painful. The process is a success and he receives a notification of his new talent level. He smiles as he says the pain was worth it, but sees a notification that says his copycat ability has a cooldown of 30 days. Yi Tian forms a cyclone as he tests his new power and says physical training is much easier. He steps out of the cave and says he will become an elite warrior. A month passes and a large beast moves through the sky. A little girl walks on the street with her father and asks what they will have for dinner. Yi Tian passes them but hears as the man is attacked by the beast. He is shocked as he turns around and sees the little girl screaming. The monstrous beast stands over its victim's corpse. Several civilians seeing that a fierce beast is attacking. They panic as they run in fear because the beast has killed someone. Yi Tian stands and is surprised as he sees the fierce beast. The beast attacks the little girl, but he swoops in and saves her before it gets to her. He realizes the fierce beast is too fast and he can't escape as it pursues them. A warrior suddenly swoops down from the sky and attacks the fierce beast but misses his attack. The fierce beast moves away as it dodges the warrior's attacks and stares at him in anger. The warrior, who is Captain Windwolf, apologizes for being late and introduces himself to Yi Tian. Captain Windwolf says he will take care of the fierce beast and instructs Yi Tian to keep the girl safe. He rushes at the wolf as he attacks it and Yi Tian stops the girl from watching. He says the wolf is strong but pushes it back as he continues swinging his sword and attacking. Captain Windwolf realizes that the fierce beast is very fast, but says he has his teammates to help. Several warriors arrive and attack the wolf, but it dodges the attack. They work together to stab it, but it gets angry and breaks free. Captain Windwolf asks his men to be careful and says he is fine. The fierce beast attempts to escape, but the captain says it can't. A warrior with a bow and arrow arrives, and she hits the fierce beast with her attack. The fierce beast falls to the ground and appears to be dead, and Captain Windwolf calls the female warrior a rookie. He commends her for her impeccable aim, and she says it is her duty. Yi Tian stands at a distance and a notification pops up. It shows him the fierce beast's talent, and he is shocked by how powerful it is. Yi Tian staring at the fierce beast status window and seeing how powerful it is. Its leg suddenly moves and he sees that it is still alive. The warriors say it is difficult to defeat beasts with speed talent, and they decide to go for a drink. They then see that the fierce beast is still alive and instruct the people that they are around to move. The fierce beast roars in anger, and the warriors say it is scary because they have strong vitality. The warriors ask Captain Windwolf what they should do, and he tells them to leave it to him. He instructs Yi Tian to leave because it isn't safe, but Yi Tian takes the chance and rushes at the fierce beast. He hits the beast several times and successfully copies its talents. Yi Tian continues hitting the beast, but Captain Windwolf stops him and says it is dead. He instructs his people to clear the battlefield and remove the bodies. He asks Yi Tian to join the Windwolves when he becomes a warrior and bids him farewell. Yi Tian smiles as he is covered in blood. He goes to a bathroom where he washes off the blood on his hands and face. He says Yi Yu will be worried if she sees that he is covered in blood. Yi Tian returns to his house and goes inside. He realizes that Yi Yu is asleep and smiles because he is happy to see her. He says it was his first time seeing a fierce beast in person, and it is scarier than what the stories say. Yi Tian gets a blanket and uses it to cover his sleeping sister. Yi Yu continues sleeping, and Yi Tian says he must become a warrior as fast as possible so he can protect her from the monsters and dangers of the world. He returns to his room and wonders if a fierce beast talent can merge with a human body. He sits on his bed as he looks at the status window and says it might hurt more than the last time he merged with a talent. He says he needs to get stronger to protect those around him, and he has to endure as he bites on a piece of cloth. Yi Tian initiating the speed talent copying. He bites on a piece of cloth as he goes through the agonizing pain and scratches the floor beneath him. He realizes how much pain he is going through and says his bones feel like they are shattering piece by piece. His legs begin to move in strange ways and are suddenly shattered and crushed. Yi Tian screams as he is unable to bear the pain, and he says his bones are breaking. He wonders if the talent copy failed and eventually falls to the ground as he calls his sister's name. Yi Tian wakes up the following morning and realizes he is lying on the floor. He wonders what happened and sees that his legs aren't broken. He tests his new powers and says his body feels extremely light. He looks at his status window and sees he has successfully merged with the speed talent. Yi Tian runs around using his newly acquired talent in the 5th Academy Grove and is excited. He lands on the ground and continues running. Yi Tian catches a lead as he stops running and says the speed talent he got from the fierce beast is awesome. Yi Tian goes to a rock that's in the woods and sits on it as he begins to meditate. He condenses a cyclone in front of him and says his speed is comparable to that of a warrior. He says his overall powers are far from powerful and says it would be nice if he could speed up his cultivation. Zhang Bao suddenly arrives and sees Yi Tian as he is meditating. He says Yi Tian is training in secret so he can become stronger. Zhang Bao asks Yi Tian if he wants to improve his powers faster and says he can do it by drinking a fierce beast blood. Yi Tian refuses to drink beast blood, and Zhang Bao says he improved faster because he drank it. Yi Tian realizes there was a lot of blood from the fierce wolf, but he wasted it. Zhang Bao tells him about a trial and says the prize for winning is the fierce beast's blood. Yi Tian asks what the arena's level is, and Zhang Bao says it is low. He laughs as Zhang Bao asks him to join his team, and Zhang Bao gets upset. He tells Zhang Bao he will join his team next time and says he must get the blood to become a warrior. In the 5th Academy, a month later, and a teacher tells Yi Tian not to sign if he hasn't received the trial notice. Yi Tian says he is a warrior and he has the right to sign up. The teacher says he wants him to live for a few more days, but throws the form at Yi Tian as he says he wants to die. Yi Tian picks up the form from the floor and realizes it is a life and death contract. The teacher says he must sign if he wants to join the trial and asks him to get lost if he is afraid of dying. Yi Tian smiles as he walks away and leaves the signed form with the teacher. Surprised, the teacher says Yi Tian thinks the trial is held for poor people like him. Meanwhile, Yi Yu wakes up and walks around the house in search of her brother. She gets to the dining and sees that Yi Tian cooked for her. She then sees a note from him that says that he has an academic activity to attend and he will be back after 3 days. Yi Yu hopes the activity isn't dangerous as she reads the note. Several crows fly around an abandoned city, which is the trial's location. Several warriors arrive and Yi Tian is shocked. Zhang Bao says people from all 5 academies are present for the trial. A man named Mo Xiaobei sees the 5th Academy students and asks why a trash academy is there for the trials. The man with him says it is an opportunity for them to hunt those who are weak. Zhang Bao says Mo Xiaobei is a genius from the 1st Academy and he is here from the Mo family. A strange man named Li Yunxing draws his sword and walks to Mo Xiaobei. People ask him why he is entering the 1st Academy's base camp with a sword, and he says he will slash Mo Xiaobei. Mo Xiaobei sees him and calls him a loser, and he asks him what he wants. The two of them then have an intense stare down. Yi Tian asking Zhang Bao who Li Yunxing is. Zhang Bao says he is the genius of the 2nd Academy and he was defeated by Mo Xiaobei. A large man calls him ignorant as he spits on the floor, and Yi Tian says he is the one who is ignorant. He suddenly begins to cheer for Li Yuzing, but Li Yuzing is shocked that he isn't afraid of Mo Xiaobei. A speaker announces that fighting isn't allowed outside the wilderness, and those who disobey will lose the right to participate in the trial. Li Yuzing sheaths his sword and says he will beat Mo Xiaobei when they enter the wilderness. He meets Yi Tian, who introduces himself and says he is from the 5th Academy. Yi Tian checks his status window and sees he has a knife talent. He extends his hand for a handshake and encourages Li Yuzing to surpass Mo Xiaobei in the wilderness. Li Yuzing shakes his hand and Yi Tian copies his talent. The trials begin and the gates are opened for the 1st Academy. Mo Xiaobei and his companions rush into the wilderness and Zhang Bao rushes to search for his team. Li Yuzing says the 2nd Academy will enter next and the 5th Academy will be the last to enter. He wishes Yi Tian good luck as he returns to his team. Yi Tian rushes into an isolated region and says it is good enough for hiding. He drops his luggage and decides to merge with the new talent. Yi Tian says he is getting used to the excruciating pain after experiencing it several times and says he must get stronger. He successfully merges with the talent and tests it by slicing and destroying several trees. He picks up his luggage as the trees fall to the ground and returns to the others. The large speaker announces that the 4 academies have entered the wilderness and says the 5th Academy can't enter. Yi Tian walking through the trial's wilderness alone. He hears a strange noise from a distance and a serpent-like monster slithers around. The giant serpent emerges and prepares to attack Yi Tian, but he pulls out his sword and prepares to fight. The monster attacks, but Yi Tian dodges and decapitates it with ease. He lands on the ground as the monster falls and says he has gained a point. He is surprised because the savage beast is weak and says his rank will increase with the more savage beasts he kills. Yi Tian wonders about the number of points he needs to come first and he sees that there is a long way ahead. He jumps around the wilderness and says he will hunt for more monsters. Yi Tian suddenly hears someone screaming for help as he jumps around and wonders what is happening. He stands on a rooftop and sees Zhang Bao and his team being attacked by several monsters. Zhang Bao yells at the monsters and says he doesn't want to die because he doesn't even have a wife. A monster jumps at Zhang Bao in an attempt to kill him, but Yi Tian sees what is happening. He shoots an arrow at the monster, killing it as he jumps off the roof and lands on the ground. Yi Tian asks Zhang Bao if he can give him all his points, and Zhang Bao is shocked. He asks Yi Tian to run and says he is no match for the beast. Yi Tian attacks the beast as they jump toward him, and he uses his knife talent to slash them. He kills all the monsters with a single attack, and Zhang Bao is shocked as he says Yi Tian is powerful. The end. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.